Ladies, gentlemen, and ballers, Private KJ, Shock Horse Podcast, back here with another video. I'm finally back from vacation, guys. It's been around a week, I would say, since I last uploaded, and it feels so good to be back. It was pretty difficult, and I wasn't able to upload in Florida. I was able to for the first week. I was in Florida. I pre-made a bunch of videos, like my MVP videos, defensive player, those kind of award videos, to at least have something, so I wasn't 2 weeks gone without uploading. But yeah, let's get back on that grind for the last month before I leave for boot camp. And in that time span, when I get back from boot camp, it's officially 100% the grind season. Okay, I'm gonna be uploading daily videos for the next, I'd say, 30 days. So stay tuned for that. And like I said, as soon as I get back in July, mid-July, I'll really be on the grind, and really, you guys will really see how dedicated I am. But with that said, let's just kick right into it. Enough with the antics. There is a good bunch. There's probably like 5 or 6 games that played today. I'm gonna talk about 4 of them. And yeah, it just feels really nice to be able to watch NBA. Like, I really wasn't able to watch any, if like much at all, while I was at Florida, and boy was it was difficult. But first game up, I'm just going to say shout out to the Cavs for beating the 76ers 112-109. Colin Sexton, albeit on 27 shots, he scored 28 points. Darius Garland had a great game, almost a damn near double-double. Jared Allen, solid game. Okoro, solid game. Now, the craziest thing about this is Jared Allen continues to just be this great trade piece for the from the Nets. Jared Allen also quietly has shot in some threes lately, and they've been going in too, somewhat. So shout out to Jared Allen for that. Just want to point that out. But yeah, he shot 50% from the three-point line today. But anyways, we're not gonna talk about that. What I'm more stunned at is the fact that, one, Ben Simmons hit a 3 today and no one's talking about it, like Ben fucking Simmons. 2, Joel Embiid dropped 42, 13, and 6 and still lost on good efficiency. And that's what my main thing I want to talk about, because as I look at it, Seth Curry didn't shoot well, Danny Green didn't shoot well, Kork Maz didn't shoot well, Shake Milton didn't shoot well. And that's a huge concern, because their 3 shooters need to be there and need to show up. Now, Tobias Harris did not play, but even without Tobias Harris, the 76ers do not deserve a pass for this, okay? But with that said, the 76ers are still the 1 seed. It happens. Sometimes you lose to bad teams. The Cavs finally snapped that losing streak because they have been horrible lately. But it's just so weird to see how Embiid and Simmons both showed up and they still lost. And like I said though, Sexton, even though it wasn't on great efficiency, he came in with some clutch shots. Like, he was, like, if you actually watched that game and at the end of the fourth quarter, you would have seen that he hit clutch shot after clutch shot, and that's something that you can really appreciate. And at the end of the day, Jared Allen is just a beast. Okay, he's gonna be a really good center going forward for this Cleveland team, as long as they know how to use him properly and not let him go in free agency. Next up though, I'm just going to keep it quick with the Wizards and Timberwolves. I actually was not able to watch my Wizards, but I'm going to go back and rewatch them because I always watch my Wizards. Shout out to the Washington Wizards with a dub. Westbrook triple-double. Bradley Beal went on a scoring tear. He had 9 points at one point, and then all of a sudden it was at 27 points. Like, it was so weird. My brother was watching it, and he told me, went from 9 points, turns off the game for like 10 minutes. And next thing you know, he has 27-ish points. He was ridiculous. Shout out to Garrison Matthews. He stepped up big. Alex Len off the bench. And Davis Bertans stepping up huge. I really like to see that. Bertans starting to shoot his way out of that slump now. Cat, solid game. Edwards, albeit on poor efficiency, solid game. The Timberwolves are just a trash team. Shout out to Jalen Noel, though. Yes, sir. The guy I have stock on. I said at the beginning of the season, I think Jalen Noel can be a sneaky good player for the Timberwolves team moving forward. He had a solid game, but anyways, I'm only saying this because Brendan, if you watch this video, watch out. That wager we had, the Wizards are they're 1 game behind the Thunder. They're catching the Thunder. Let's go, baby. Let's move on though to the Spurs and Pelicans. I think the title of this video is how underrated the Spurs are. because I said in at least 2 different videos now, the Spurs are so underrated with their young core, and the fact that ESPN had DeMar DeRozan ranked 84th is just so disrespectful. DeMar DeRozan, honestly, you could debate that he should have made the All-Star team this year. And the thing that is just not going, like, people aren't talking about enough is the fact that DeMar DeRozan has shown that he can be an elite playmaker. And I'm not saying like a good or very good I'm talking like elite. Like, he has shown that he's one of the best passers in the league this year. It's ridiculous. Now, that might be a little far-fetched, might be a little too much, but he has shown that he's an elite playmaker this year. Okay, the way he's able to distribute the team, he finished with 32 and 11 today. Okay, DeJounte Murray had a great game. Lonnie Walker showed up today. LaMarcus Aldridge off the bench had a solid game. It's so interesting to see because I think the Spurs honestly might keep DeMar DeRozan and offer him a contract in free agency. Now, I do think LaMarcus Aldridge is done for this year. I think they will let him go. But this was just a good win for the for the Spurs. And on the Pelican side, Lonzo Ball did not shoot great this game. Brandon Ingram and Zion had a fine game though. Nothing too special from them, I guess. I guess 23 and 14 isn't too special. That's how you know Zion is going to be amazing. Bledsoe 19. I'm curious to see on what happened to Kill Alexander Walker's minutes, because I remember he was tearing it up early in the season. And I think it's because Bledsoe's still there, but I think you can keep Lonzo, trade Bledsoe, and let Nikhil Walker play more. Like, it's just that simple. Shout out to the Knicks, though, with a 110-107 win against the Pacers. It's crazy to think that I said the Pacers were going to be my dark horse contender this year. That's so disappointing. They just fell off. T.J. McConnell, though, almost had a triple-double. Sabonis had an okay game, almost had a triple-double. Yeah, shout out to Doug McDermott. But anyone see the Knicks cheering on R.J. Barrett MVP chance? That was pretty tough. But Randall shows up, Barrett shows up, Derrick Rose, great game. So yeah, but another game I want to talk about. Oh, by the way, the Jazz beat the Magic, but I did not watch that game. 2 more games I want to discuss. Next up, we have the Nuggets and the Thunder. Okay, now this game, I want to say that I called this happening. And Brendan, like I said, if you're watching this video, it's not that I predicted. Oh, I'm some wizard. I already knew the Nuggets were going to win. No. I knew the Nuggets were going to win, obviously. I think they're the favorites. I think a lot of people thought they were going to win. But it was the fashion that they won. And it's because the Thunder, as much as you want to say they've been impressive for what their talent shows on the roster, it's Jokic just dominated this game. And only on 30 minutes, like, the Thunder just couldn't buy shots. They couldn't get to the free throw line very much. It was just a rough game for the Thunder. And every time I sit there and watch the Thunder game, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, nah, don't worry. They'll find a way to pull up a comeback. Like, it's the Thunder, like they always have. Shea will finally turn it up, and it just never happened. Jamal Murray had a great game. Everyone on that Nuggets team was just on that starting lineup. Was just having a great game. Everyone scored double-digit points, and it was nice to see because it just looked like at times the Thunder roster just looked a step slow, like they were still asleep, and it was just really weird. And because typically they're not like that. Like, I just watching Monte Morris make the simple cut to the backdoor cut, and Jokic dot him up. Who else? Will Barton cuts from the hash wing, goes to the free throw line, and gets the easiest dunk in the world. I'm just thinking, like, that's just unacceptable. And I get it, it happens, but at the end of the day, the Thunder do need to step it up for that game, though. It happens. Darius Bazley, though, 22 points. He had actually a pretty good game. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, albeit on solid, it really wasn't that good efficiency. But yeah, if you just look down the roster, shout out to Ty Jerome, though. He's been solid lately in these past couple games. They just couldn't really buy buckets, and they didn't get to the free throw line all that much, as I would have liked to see, at least from my view. For people who say that Shea should have made the All-Star game over Devin Booker, I think this kind of shows why. One, because Booker's on a winning team, but I feel like there's just this sense of that Booker is a bucket getter, whereas Shea gets his buckets in the flow of the offense. And if you watch the game, I'm not saying Shea is not a bucket getter. Do not quote me on that, okay? But what I'm saying is, when we're talking about pure scoring of the basketball, I understand that Shea probably has around, if not better stats, overall basic stats than Devin Booker. I understand that. But when we're talking like, yo, go get me a bucket, I think that sometimes factors in. At the end of the day, like I understand, like a lot of people would take Devin Booker over Shea, and Brendan, the Thunder fan, would always talk about, look, man, Shea has these stats to back it up that he's better. Like, what are you talking about? I understand that. I just think at the end of the day, one, that Booker's on a winning team, and two, it's just a sense that, like, the fact that what we can rely on Devin Booker to get a bucket at any given point, whereas Shea, he's more on the floor of the offense, and that's what I mean. I'm not saying this is how it is for every game, but this game specifically showed, because when his team is struggling, okay, it seems like you can't consistently, I quote on emphasis on the consistently part, because I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but consistently he cannot get his own bucket, and where he sometimes he's more of a facilitator around the offense and a byproduct of a little bit more of the offense than Booker, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that Shea's not a star, I'm not saying any of that, but I'm just saying as a pure scorer, Booker is better at that than Shea, and I think that goes a long way. Next up, though, we have the Nets versus the Mavericks. This will be the last game of the day. And this just shows the Mavericks' potential when everyone's healthy and clicking on all cylinders. Okay, Luka Doncic had 27 points on good efficiency. Porzingis only had 25 minutes, had a great game. Brooklyn. Now, the interesting thing is they only had James Harden playing, so maybe that's why this happened. And albeit it wasn't exactly their best game, they only shot 31% from 3, 40% from the field. It wasn't a great shooting split from this team. And it was basically a Harden carry show if you really look into it. Shout out to Bruce Brown, though. He had a solid game. But that's really what this was. And I still think this was a great win for the Mavericks because they are still in the hunt for the 8th seed. And I really want to see this Dallas Mavericks make the playoffs because Luka Doncic seems to step up big in crunch time. And I love me some Luka Doncic. He's great. I love me some Luka Doncic. Dorian Finney-Smith had a great game today, and on the defense end, Jalen Brunson. Oh my lord! I'm so glad I mentioned this earlier in the season. I like that he's finally starting to get his minutes back up. He steps up big. Okay, I speak on it earlier that he needs to have more of a playmaking role in this team, and it's starting to happen. I'm not saying it's really expanded all that much, but he's starting to have the ball more in his hands. Starting to be the true point guard team when Luka is out, and I really like to see that. And they ran more lineups with him with Luka and Brunson, and I really like those lineups. Okay, I love seeing Jalen Brunson. I think he's a super underrated player for this team. He can do a little bit of everything for this team, and Luka Doncic needs a player like that. I told them I'm not sure. I think they should go look for another playmaker for UC, but I don't think they're as desperate as people say they are because Brunson can be that role if you give him that role. Okay. And with that said, that'll conclude this video. Wow. Feels good to be back. It really does, okay? This video is about 13 to 14 minutes long. But with that said, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Live stream is next Sunday. Be prepared for that. And yeah, wow. Feels great to be back. With that said, Private KJ out.